Hi, it's Pastor Andy with our Friday preview this week, and this week we're going to just look at a few short verses at the end of Romans 15, the last 4 verses of Romans 15, and these verses are about prayer. They are all about prayer. In fact, the last verse is a very short prayer, about as short of a prayer as you might have, but all of these are about prayer, and they really encompass 3 different aspects. 2 related to Paul and what he was looking to do and what he was hoping might not happen to him. So praying for deliverance in that sense, but also a part of the ministry that he was going towards Jerusalem to deliver the collection, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. And then the last verse being Paul's prayer for the church at Rome about peace coming upon them, that the God of peace would bring them peace, would bring them unity. And you might remember even from Romans 14, but certainly we've talked throughout this particular letter that Paul wrote that there are Jew and Gentile believers within this church, and there's been some challenges in getting them to understand one another, in working together in unity and such, and so this prayer for peace is certainly important. So we're going to talk about prayer on Sunday briefly as a part of this. The videos Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are going to talk about prayer also. On Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to go through 9 different types of prayer. There are more, and you might use a different name for the 9 that I provide, but there are 9 different types of prayer within the Bible, and those will be a part of Mondays and Tuesdays discipleship videos. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about the Trinity and how God, being 3 persons in one, relates to prayer, and should that impact our prayer. And let me just state up front that I don't think it has to impact our prayer. I don't think God's not going to hear you if you don't talk to the right person in the right way at the right time. But I do think it can make our prayers better and perhaps embolden them in some ways if we do understand that as we pray to God, we're really praying to 3 different persons, and perhaps we could understand that process a little better, even as Paul mentions that in verse 30 of this particular chapter this week. So as we think about prayers, again, this week at the conclusion of the sermon, which will be much shorter, we're going to have a time of prayer. Not as long or as structured as we did back in January when we had a prayer service based upon the book of Habakkuk, but similar to that. But I also want to encourage you, if you are thinking about praying, pray for our ministries of the church, and specifically as we begin to focus more on children this fall again with our youngest children, not the youngest, but our K through 3 ministry, God Squad, that meets here in the church on Thursday afternoons, and then our youth group that meets on Wednesdays, grades 7 through 12, and our Root group that meets on Thursdays at 5:30 in the Lighthouse, and that is grades 4 through 6. So the God Squad has already started. The Root Group and Youth Group will be starting here within the next week or so. So be in prayer for those ministries as we try to minister to the children and effectively their families as well in this coming time. So with that, I hope to see you on Sunday.